In episode number 278 of the Reasons I'm Broke podcast, we cover the return of Animaniacs.
We also have the recent accusations against Stanley.
We also interview Patrick Trahey, writer of The 12 from Alterna Comics, as our comic book highlight.
All of this and much more on today's show.
Hello and welcome to the Reasons I'm Broke podcast, bringing you the reasons we're broke every single week, ranging from comics, movies, TV, video games, and more. I'm Daniel.
And I'm your Emperor Kelli.
For those of you joining us for the very first time, I know some of you might be coming from Alterna Comics. Welcome to the Brokehead Core family. The way we format the show is we cover some news first, we head into our Patreon shoutouts of the week, and then we do a comic book highlight of the week, which again is an interview this week.
Before we get into all that, though, we are going to start out our show with a hashtag game of the week.
This week, and we had some really good entries. The hashtag was hashtag badly explain your job. My entry was, I saw stacks of folded paper that's been stapled together.
That is accurate. You work in a comic shop, and that is what you do.
And sometimes there are pretty pictures in them.
Yes.
Sometimes there aren't.
Just sometimes. There's some words you have to read these folded stacks of paper. I guess for me, mine would be, I trade the slaughtered carcasses of animals for money.
That is true. That is definitely what you do.
That is what I do.
On Twitter, @KyleInge said, I do math and draw pictures so tourists can be happy. HVAC engineer for those wondering.
Now let me ask you, Daniel, do you know what HVAC stands for?
Is that HVAC? Does that have to do with restaurants?
They're in restaurants.
Okay.
They're in our house right now as well. It is heating, ventilation, air conditioning. So he does ductwork, HVAC.
Okay, gotcha.
Heating, air conditioning, etc. I know this from my days in a construction office. I took some things away.
All of it comes back. Everything is useful for sure. @CubanSlim on Twitter also had an entry.
I buy and sell expensive pieces of small cardboard, pricey boxes with pieces of wood and plastic, and packaged colored plastic.
I mean, when you really boil everything down, our jobs do seem pretty mundane.
Yes, everything is dumb. We also have one from Kat on Facebook who says, I sell individually wrapped, alphabetized, folded papers.
So comic books as well.
Yes.
And Corey on Facebook, very straightforward and simple. I'm a drug dealer.
The best part is if he's an actual drug dealer.
Not Walgreens, not
CVS.
CVS.
Nope. An actual drug dealer. And then he would be our winner for the week.
That's right. So thank you so much for playing in the hashtag games for the week. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter @ReasonsI'mBroke and Facebook.com/TheReasonsI'mBroke. Participate in the hashtag games and we may feature it on the next episode.
So before we get into the news, I'm going to talk about my new obsession. Last week I asked our listeners to tell me about something to watch on Hulu. None of you did.
No one came through.
Nobody.
What happened, Brokehead Core?
I don't know. So I went, Hulu has a section that said Academy Awards. No, what did they say? Golden Globes 2018. And I was like, screw it. What's on there? This Is Us is on there. And I've heard great things about This Is Us. And I said, whatever, I will watch it. And I am hooked. I am addicted to this show. If you haven't seen This Is Us, it is so good. It's so real.
So is it episodic? Is it exclusive to Netflix or any of those programs?
Well, it's on Hulu.
Okay.
It's not exclusive. I think it comes on NBC. And then Hulu just has all the episodes, moving forward like Hulu does. You get them the next day. But it's awesome. You follow 4 different stories of 4 different people. I don't want to give anything away if anybody's going to watch it because the first episode for me was just like, whoa, by the end of it. But they're all connected somehow. And then you see that by the end of the first episode, these 4 different people. But it's very, very real. You see, an adopted child and going through what I imagine someone who's adopted would. And they are very real about marriage and the struggles you go through with marriage and how difficult it is and how you just have to push through and all this stuff. Oh my God, it's so good. It's wonderful. People have to watch it. And it's great because it's not like a normal TV show. There's you go back in time and you see this thing and you see that thing and then you flip over here and it's more like a movie. But of course, every episode is 44 minutes long, and the first season was 18 episodes, so you can imagine how much TV I've watched in the last week.
Well, you got to get it all in now before you go back into work.
I have one more week till I go back to work, and I'm so sad. Don't talk to me about it. My mind's already, like, I stay awake at night. I'm like, I got to get this done before I go back, and this, and then when I go back, this is what needs to happen, and I'm working out childcare and all this crazy stuff, and the podcast is still going to happen. We still have that all worked out and planned out, and that's not going to change, but there's a world of other things that are going to change, and I will cry like a baby. I will cry more than my child has ever cried in his life when I go back to work.
Well, it's a good thing you're a procrastinator because you're going to knock this out on one day right before you go right back to work.
All the stuff that I need to get done. The biggest thing I need is clothes. None of my clothes fit. Thanks, baby. And I can't wear your clothes to work, so...
I mean, you can.
I could.
You just wouldn't have a job for much longer.
Right. They can't fire me for that. But I'm not putting forth my best at that point.
Gotcha.
So there's so much that needs to be done. And I'm freaking out, and I'm sad. Again, I'm sad. I'm just gonna quit. Daniel, you can support me. Patreon backers, we need you to up that backing just a little bit.
Yeah, if you really want to quit, like I could say, and this is that would be your full-time job. Like, yeah, Leo, but it's like, okay, Kelly, I need you to go on Twitter and pump the podcast if you're going to stay at home and get paid for it. Like, if Patreon was paying your salary,
well, yeah,
you would have to do, like, podcast stuff.
I would have to do that. I don't know where I'd have time. My whole day is filled up with Leo.
Never mind, patrons.
I mean, I could if the Patreons want to support me that much. Then, yes, absolutely. I will quit my job, and I will post on Twitter twice as much as I already do.
It's also nice that the Golden Globes, and we're going to talk a little bit about them later too, are happening now because these streaming programs are on top of it, and they'll say, these things are nominated, or these things are like the things that got nominated. So if you wanted to watch something new, you know that it'll at least be as perceived quality.
Right, and that's exactly what happened with This Is Us. I was figuring movies would be on there, but there were a bunch of TV shows. And I was like, yeah, fuck it, let's give this a shot. And oh man, I was bawling by the end of the first episode. I was hooked.
That's good. I'm glad you found something that you really enjoyed.
I do.
Something good happened to us this week, too.
Yes.
A small writer. He's also a producer. We've talked to him about him a couple of times. I don't know if Brokettes have heard about him or have ever heard the name, but in the past, he did write for Green Lantern, did it for about 9 years or so, a little bit over that. He's now helping out this independent company called Warner Bros. And there's like a period, they're trying to be fancy, still trying to get their name out there.
Warner Bros.
They've got characters like Batman that he's helping with.
The Batman?
The Batman.
Okay.
Is Jeff Johns?
Superman?
Can't remember if it's Jeff or Geoff. Anyway, this Jeff Johns, at Jeff Johns, Geoff. Jeff fucking Johns followed us on fucking Twitter. Jeff Johns followed us on goddamn Twitter.
This was the highlight of his year. You don't even last year. It was better than the birth of our child. It was Jeff Johns. Our kid was born. He's like, oh yeah, there's our kid. Kelly, Jeff Johns is, look, I gotta tell you this story.
I just screenshotted it and shared it. And I haven't told the story, and some of you may have seen it on Twitter, like, oh, so that's how he got him to follow. But I screenshotted it, and people on Facebook and in person were saying, is that really him? And I'm like, I know, I checked the exact same thing, because I was fooled once when Ben Affleck followed us, and I was like, holy shit, Ben Affleck. And then I clicked on the profile, and it was the exact same setup and same picture, but it didn't have the check mark, and it wasn't the real Ben Affleck. Like, at Ben Affleck had one less F or something like that. I was like, fuck, they tricked me. But Jeff Johns himself, of course, I double-checked it, and yes, he has the blue check mark. You go to Jeff Johns' Twitter right now, go to following, scroll down, not even far, and you'll see us, because it goes by order of who he's following. And what's funny about this whole thing, even, putting aside the story that I'm about to tell, is that people follow Jeff Johns' following list because that's how they get clues as to who gets cast in future movies and future TV shows. So what they'll do is they're like, okay, who did he just follow? Let's go to their profile. Okay, what are they connected to? Who do they kind of look like, and what are they about to cast?
So he thought you were Momoa.
That might have been it. Well, Momoa is my stunt double.
Oh, that's right. That's
See,
right.
that's what a lot of people are saying. Well, they're putting the wrong name. Like, for example, he's going to be at MegaCon this year.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll definitely be there as well. So I'll be doing signings. He'll be doing signings. And they're saying, oh, they got the name wrong. It's supposed to be your name. I was like, well, actually, he's my stunt double. And I'll be there as well. So you can have a picture with me and the stunt double. It works out. So I just can imagine someone going to our profile like, who are these guys? Who do they follow? Are they going to be on DC's exclusive interviews thing? Or what are they going to, like, someone trying to number 23 it? Like, who are these? Who is the reasons I'm broke? Going through all our episodes, seeing if there's clues hidden anywhere.
Yes.
Like, you know, any kind of, we're working on this project.
Lots of clues.
Yeah, we've got some stuff coming this year, everyone, and we just can't talk about it.
Have we not talked about all the things that I've quote unquote called? Do you think I was really
that's
calling all
true.
those things? I fucking knew.
Any normal human can call that many things? Come on, everyone.
No.
An uninformed person? No way.
No.
So the story on how Jeff Johns ended up following us, I follow several DC films, DCEU heavy accounts, and one of them was he went off on Jeff Johns actually about the DC films, and these are the things that were wrong about Justice League, and you know that's not my deal. Like, I don't do that kind of thing, but sometimes those people that I do follow are a little bit more passionate about the DC films than we are. So he went off on this long thread about it straight to Jeff Johns, and Jeff Johns was following this particular account, who I believe has 12K followers. And then eventually near the bottom of the thread, he said, oh, I guess he unfollowed me. He can't handle the heat. And then I kept following the thread, and he said, oh, never mind. He followed me again. Maybe he accidentally unfollowed me. And then I replied with, yeah, I think he accidentally unfollowed us too. And in parentheses in that same tweet, I said, I hope this works, fingers crossed. And I put the little fingers crossed emoji. And like about an hour later, Jeff Johns fucking followed us. I'm like, this guy has a sense of humor. I humored him into following us. I charmed him into it.
That's amazing. What a way for 2018 to start.
So now he can see like our silly tweets and retweets and
Your silly tweets and retweets.
And one thing I told someone else was, as if we weren't DC fanboys and fangirls already enough. And now we have Jeff Johns fucking following us. A long time ago at the Read Pile, Rick from Nerd Up Media, and I had this little contest of what are the biggest names we can get to follow us. Mm-hmm. And, you know, he had Gail Simone, and then I had Gail Simone. And then, you know, I forgot who we had topped, but he had topped me at Scott Snyder. Like, he had Scott Snyder following him, and I'm like, damn. And now I've got Jeff Johns. Like, he's got to get Stan Lee himself now to top this. Like,
well, see, after the Stan Lee news, maybe not.
That's true. This is the top, I think. Maybe Kevin Feige, if you're really into the MCU, but Jeff Johns, comic book extraordinaire.
So, have you gone back to Rick and been like, hey, look at this?
Not yet. Like, I don't want to, like, maybe I should, but I also don't want to. That's true. I don't want to risk Jeff Johns unfollowing in any way.
Wait for it to just come up in casual conversation.
That's true. Oh, so I was DMing Jeff. That's how you get unfollowed, actually, if you send them a direct message, because once they follow you, then you can actually send them private messages. But a lot of people will get annoyed, like, no, I didn't follow you for this. Right. Exactly. Like, I don't know you that way for direct messages.
Yeah.
So that was awesome. Like, you can't top out, even if you get like Jim Lee to follow you, which we've been retweeted by once when he was doing the Hero Initiative thing several years back for the New 52. But I think I would put Jeff Johns above Jim Lee, not by much.
I'm telling Jim Lee.
You can tell Jim Lee, and he would agree with you.
You know who I put above all of them?
Dougie Jones?
I mean, Dougie Jones is
Do you
pretty
put
high.
Dougie Jones above Jeff Johns?
I'm talking DC.
DC. Who do you put above? Kevin Conroy?
Yeah, Kevin Conroy too.
Are you talking strictly comics then?
Yes.
Damn, I don't know. Who do you put above?
Dustin Wynn.
That's true.
Which is why you should be on our show.
He should be.
Listen, Dustin.
I think he's already following us. So in your mind, so we got Dustin and we got Jeff.
Can I tell you? I think I've told the story before about the first time Dustin ever spoke to me.
Maybe not. Maybe it's been a while. Go ahead.
It was on DeviantArt, and he drew a Mr. Freeze, and I just commented. This was like 10 years ago. I don't even know. I just commented, and I already really liked Dustin Wynn at this point. And I commented, oh, it's like that one episode from Batman the Animated Series. And he's like, yeah, that was a great episode. And I was That was the first time.
And I think the very first thing that we read with Dustin's work was probably Detective Comics or Gotham Central. He did maybe a cover to. If not, it was definitely
Streets of Gotham.
Streets of Gotham. There you go.
Streets of Gotham was the first thing I ever read by Dustin Nguyen.
And we kept in contact through Facebook, and then as it got bigger and bigger and bigger, and we've said it before, and I don't hate reminding people about it because it's awesome. You don't see it often with industry people. He remained the same. Like, he's still like, hey guys, how's it going? And as I mentioned last year, he was like, oh, hey, I know you.
Yeah, and you got to meet him, and I'm still waiting. Dustin Nguyen.
He asked, he's like, where's Kelli?
At home, being pregnant. But now I'm not pregnant anymore, so just come on down to Florida. Come on to MegaCon, Dustin Nguyen.
He needs to. He really does.
And then he needs to be on our show.
I'll leave it to the Brokehead Core. Send the tweet over to Dustin Nguyen and see if maybe he'll listen to the Brokehead Core. Just like the podcast awards, they came in full swing. Send it to Dustin Nguyen, to Tommy Wiseau. That was a thing earlier this week.
That'd be awesome.
And to who else do we want?
Dougie Jones.
Sure, Doug Jones.
Would Dougie Jones be on my show? You should try to get Doug Jones.
He's at actor Doug Jones.
Just get all my favorite people. Get Guillermo. Will Guillermo be on our? Guillermo will say he'll be on our show, and then 5 years later he'll drop out of it.
And then 7 years later, he will be in his own podcast on his own show that he'll only do one episode for.
Yes.
That will be the most downloaded in iTunes.
Love it.
Yes.
We will love it.
Oh man, all of this is so true.
Those are my hashtag 2018 goals. Is Dustin Nguyen, Dougie Jones, Guillermo. Get Kevin Conroy. Can we get Kevin Conroy on here?
We can try.
Fuck it. Yeah.
Arlene Sorkin, maybe?
Yeah. Oh, Arlene. What's
all these
she doing?
empty promises, Kelly.
Harley.
Now the Brokehead Core is excited.
I'm not making empty promises. I'm just saying, if y'all start tweeting these
We're directing the core.
Yes. We are the guardians.
Except not as evil. Not as assholey. We're the ones that Sinestro spared.
Except we're the dark side, so now what?
Are we?
I'm Palpa Kelly.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, a little Star Wars and a little Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Darth Vader Daniel, absolutely.
Awesome.
Before we do finally get into the news this week, there's one more thing that came up, and this was actually through Apple Podcasts reviews. So I feel like normally it's like, okay, yeah, reviews don't matter, but we do have to address it because someone that might have just joined in the last two episodes like this particular reviewer did may have the wrong impression of what the show is actually about or about Kelly and I. So we wanted to make that a little bit clear. The longtime Brokehead Core are like, no, we know you guys are messing around most of the time and not really meaning, half the stuff we're saying, but this particular review was titled "The Reasons We Hate Stuff and You're Dumb." So this is where we're going on this review. And we're not going to say the person's name. You're more than welcome. Like Al immediately knew, like, oh, let me find them on Twitter. And he did some investigating. He's a true fan.
Is Al a high school girl? No offense, Al.
That's the tenacity of a high school girl's investigation is strong. Like, that is a compliment for sure.
that is true.
And immediately I want to debunk this by saying we like Harley Quinn, we like Batman, we like Batman the Animated Series. And this is only helping this person's cause based on this review. I don't know if you want to read it off.
Sure. So, quote, jumped on during the Christmas break and liked the episode, and I really wanted to keep on, but you guys tend to focus more talking negatively about the things you don't like than about the things you do. Not trying to be a jerk, and I'm not a fanboy, but you give the impression that if you enjoy Marvel or lean liberal, then you're some kind of idiot, end quote.
I do think that if you jumped on in the last two episodes, maybe, you do get that impression. And this person could still be listening. Like maybe, they want to give it another shot or continue on.
I hope you do give it another shot.
Inevitably, there's going to be things that anyone says on any show, any podcast that you enjoy. And people know, longtime podcast listeners, that they're going to say things that you disagree with. And then you kind of move on because you agree with some of the other things or you enjoy their perspective or whatever it may be. There's a ton of podcasts that I listen to that I'm like, for example, Fat Man on Batman with Kevin Smith. I disagree with a ton of stuff he says, but I keep listening because he's entertaining, he's insightful, he's funny, and, I keep going. Mark Bernardin's constantly slamming the DCEU, and it's like, yeah, I don't like that portion of it, but I do like when he does go into, some of the writings or how he would do certain things or how he works in the industry. So, and that's just one show that I listen to. There's several, and at one point there has been stuff that comes up that I do disagree with. In this case, though, we did give off that wrong impression. We're actually left. We are liberals.
Yes.
But what's funny is, and I mentioned this on Twitter, we make fun of our own too. Like, you can't just make fun of the right or make fun of left. And this is the most political we'll get on the podcast, by the way. If it doesn't involve some kind of comic story that does have people asking about, different characters, whether or not they're diverse, all of that. But whenever, and again, getting into politics here, but whenever a certain member, a certain party takes over, the opposite side gets louder. And that's where it can get extreme. So, for example, when Obama was president, you saw the extreme right, and they got really loud. And you got all these crazy things about the birth certificate and all kinds of stuff, Kenya. And now that Trump is president, you're seeing the extreme left and like Nazi and what, all of that. And when that happens, I tend to make fun of whatever's the loudest because I don't know. It's just
they set themselves up.
They do.
Yeah,
they do. And I can't just. That's the one thing that confuses people. They're like, even in person, they're like, "Oh, I thought you were a fan of that." I am, but that shit is wrong, or that's funny, and So yes, we're actually liberals. We're not far left. And as I've mentioned before, when I make fun of the far left, that doesn't mean that I'm not left. So as far as the Marvel bashing, I can't argue there. Like
we do. I don't, and maybe we don't say this enough, and so I'd like to apologize. I don't think anybody's stupid for what they like. I'm so happy that we have so many comics nowadays, so many things that people like, and that I'm happy that Marvel exists to help make all these comic movies to get more people into comics. Whether I like the movies or not makes no difference. It's doing great things for the industry.
Sure. Yeah, and it's making tons of money for a lot of people, and the industry itself, again, it's the new action movies of today. Maybe where the confusion might come up is where we talk about the shallow nature of the movies, of the Marvel movies, and that is our interpretation of these movies. Because if you get down to it and you boil these movies down, a lot of the MCU are, simple jokes that won't matter, once again, in 10 years. Plots that you're not going to really think about. Oh, so that symbolized, or any of that. It's very light, it's popcorn films. And if that's taken as a negative, that's, I don't know, like that is a negative to me because that's not what I enjoy out of my movies. But that's what we say constantly, that those are our reviews, those are our opinions. We like movies like this, and this movie was not like this. And I think we make it pretty clear. But as you said, I do apologize if anyone did feel like, oh, I feel like an idiot for liking these. You can like all the movies you want. You can like any of them. Obviously, people like the Avengers. They love that stuff. I think it's one of the worst ones in the MCU. It is the worst one in the MCU. But
I like tons of bullshit that you hate. So
exactly right, and I like a bunch of stuff that you or the rest of the Brokettes might not like. So that's just the nature of liking things,
right? And that's why there is so many things to like because different people like different things, and that's great. Like,
and you can choose the thing you want to like.
Like Pikachu is the best Pokemon. And summer hits of the 2000s are what we should listen to in the car.
But because we have a microphone and the internet, you're going to hear it from a certain perspective.
Yes.
And I know, at least I think that if we were to just make it too generic or too, tiptoey, like, oh, well, if you like these things, then great. It wouldn't have personality. It wouldn't have much substance to the show. It wouldn't be us. It'd be
This Is Us is a great show.
Nice way to tie it right in. So that's what caused this negative review. Unfortunately, it bumped us down from my 5-star review. Thankfully, a couple of Brokettes came through and they said, "Oh, I haven't even rated the show on iTunes yet.
Thank you.
Let me go in and I'm embarrassed that I didn't put." Actually, Eric on Twitter said, "I'm embarrassed I didn't rate this before," and he went ahead and rated.
I haven't rated our show on iTunes.
Rate our show, Kelly. You kidding me?
And I think I have 2 iTunes accounts too, so there's no excuse.
If you guys enjoy the show as it is, and you do like the perspective, that we do continue it, that we don't filter out too much of what we do say, and you do think that whatever you feel the show deserves, head on over to Apple Podcasts, and the star rating is good. A written review is even better. So if you get the chance, it takes 2 minutes, and it helps us out in new Brokettes finding the podcast. iTunes looks at that, and it helps us out on the charts as well. So if you get the chance, head on over to Apple Podcasts. There's a link to the app. If you have an iPhone, you click on the link on our Twitter account or on thereasonsimbroke.com. It'll actually open the app for you, and right from there, you take your 2 minutes, leave us a review or a rating. It takes about 24 hours for it to show up. Then it goes a long, long way to help out the show.
But I just want to give a blanket apology again. We don't ever want to make anybody feel like they're an idiot, unless you don't think that Emperor Palpatelli is the queen of the universe, which I am.
was the emperor of the universe.
Whatever. I'm just the ruler.
It's whatever you feel like it should be at that moment.
Yes. But no, we don't ever want anybody to feel like an idiot. We're just stating our opinions. And there's very few people that I actually consider idiots in life. And I'm sure none of our listeners are those people. So sorry if anybody felt that.
What a way to end that there.
Look, we've all worked in a place where somebody comes in and you're like, oh, this idiot again.
There's no such thing as stupid question. Yes, there are. Yes, there are.
Yes, there definitely is.
So with that out of the way, let's head into the meat and potatoes of the show. As Dan DiDio said many years ago, the news for the week.
Now you have me hungry. Thank you. Talking about potatoes. So we're going to start out with some television news. Although Chilling Adventures of Sabrina is a spin-off TV show from CW's Riverdale, Netflix has acquired exclusivity over the network.
Fucking Netflix flexing their goddamn muscles over the CW itself. They said, we made your fucking Riverdale shit more popular than ever.
Yeah.
You got better ratings on our Netflix, and that bump is because it's available on our network. Your show is a thing because of us.
And you want to know why? Again, because the people who Riverdale is aimed for can't fucking afford cable. We can't do it.
The demographics are there. It's most likely that they do. There's a higher chance that there's Netflix in the household for those particular audience members than there is full cable.
Exactly.
And in this case, yeah, you can watch it on the CW, but I don't like to do that. I like to just have it on Netflix or whatever. And that's actually how we caught up and discovered Riverdale.
Yes.
You know, I don't remember why I think it's because we read the comics that we were like, yeah, let's see what the differences are. I had heard that it was a more horror-themed show or more investigative.
I kept hearing the commercials for it on Pandora while I was listening to my summer hits of the 2000s. Pop hits of the 2000s, early 2000s. So yes, I kept hearing the previews, and then while I was out on maternity leave and you took that 2 weeks off with me, we ran through every show on Netflix that we had lined up in our queue, so we needed something new.
And on Hulu.
Yep, and that's how we jumped on.
We saw the very first episode, and we were hooked from there.
Oh man, it was so good.
I'm still calling it the best comic book TV show currently in rotation. It's fucking phenomenal.
It's great.
Can't wait for season 2 to hit Netflix. And because of that, Netflix did have that thing of, look, it's cute that you guys want it on your network, but if you want this to succeed, it's going to be on ours, and we're going to give this much of an order on it. If you want to go ahead and let them know what it was that made the difference.
Yeah, so we have a quote here from CW President Mark Pedowitz, who said, quote, "It was a decision which I understood from a business viewpoint. Netflix offered them a 2-year deal. We weren't going to do that. Netflix has had great success and should get some credit for helping us get Riverdale binged, and our guys get a lot of credit from bringing the guys who binged on Netflix back to the network and to our digital site. I wish them the best." End quote.
What a way to bow out. That's how you do it, right there. They're going to make your show a success. They want to do 2 seasons because they know they can throw that shit right next to Riverdale on their network, and we're going to watch it because it is connected to the Archie universe. The one part that I do think like, oh, that's kind of weird, is it's still in that same universe, but it's not going to be on that channel. But it sounds like most viewers of Riverdale are actually watching it on Netflix.
Right. And maybe, I don't know this, but maybe Netflix can work out something where after it's all premiered on Netflix, after a given time, maybe CW can put it up on their website. I don't know.
And we haven't seen season 2 yet of Riverdale because, again, we don't have cable, so we'll have to wait for it to hit Netflix. But I don't know if Sabrina's made an appearance yet on that, but when she does, that'll be a nice way to introduce the same viewers to this character. Chilling Adventures of Sabrina will have a 20-episode order over those 2 seasons. Were you aware that this was actually also based on a current comic book, the Sabrina horror comic?
I wasn't. I knew she was in... No, what did we just read? Betty and Veronica and Harley and Ivy had Sabrina in it. And I was like, oh, it's Sabrina. I was never I won't say I was never a fan of Sabrina. I was never allowed to watch Sabrina.
Because of the witches and the magic?
Yes, because of the witches and the magic. I mean, we're talking about us being left. I grew up very right. So I know both sides. So yes, I was never allowed.
Both sides. Both sides.
Stop it. I was never allowed to watch it. I know it had a big following and a lot of people really enjoyed the show. I never got into it. She was on Boy Meets World once, too.
The actor, whoever plays Sabrina, or the actual character?
The cat.
Oh, no, really? Like
yes,
the actual animatronic cat? That's fucking cool.
The animatronic cat was on an episode of Boy Meets World. I remember now. So that's all the exposure I've had.
So we know it's in the same universe.
Yes. So then they can be on Riverdale, too. Whoa!
Yes. Yeah, they did there's an Archie horror comic, and then since then they've done spin-offs where it's like Predator versus Archie. They've done The Punisher versus Archie was one of the first ones. What? It's one of those where it's like readers are like, what the hell? Someone as R-rated as the Punisher in the Archie universe?
Does Archie like tumble down a hill and accidentally kill him? Like, how does this...
Well, he's like running away from him, and meanwhile he's killing people in Riverdale, so there's blood. It's
Jesus.
It's one of those, and that was a huge success. Like, you can try to find that back issue, and it goes for some money. So they started doing that with Predator. They started doing that with... they went all in when they did an Archie horror comic as well. And then out of that, they did The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, which again was a reinvention of the character,
right,
but in a darker theme. And unfortunately, the comic has been plagued with delays, where I think issue 7 came out half a year later, or maybe even a year after. And now they're finally getting it back on track, especially with the goddamn show there. Archie was like, get that fucking... If we have to fire the writer or the artist, we will do that shit. Get that book on track. So now it's coming back. But yeah, I'm curious as to how much from the comic they're going to lift. Not that there's a whole lot of content, but how much they're going to use in the television show.
Hopefully a lot. I'm excited to see it. If it's anything close to Riverdale, then it'll be great. And of course, we will enjoy it.
So Sabrina's not the only one returning to television or streaming services. 90s cartoon Animaniacs will be getting an all-new 2-season revival on Hulu.
This is the Animaniacs. Na 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 na. So this is just Hulu and Netflix fighting for our childhood. This is what's going on right now.
They're crossing dicks and then coming in. All that money.
So this deal also includes streaming rights to the original run of Animaniacs, as well as the spin-off series Pinky and the Brain, Pinky, Elmira, and the Brain, and the related Tiny Toon Adventures series.
So when we logged into Hulu, I saw that Tiny Toons was on there. I said, holy shit, Steven Spielberg's fucking Tiny Toons. I grew up watching that.
We're tiny, we're toony, we're all a little loony.
Paul Dini worked on that for a while.
And in this cartoony, we're invading your TV.
Do you know what the downside to Tiny Toons and how it conflicted with Batman the Animated Series?
It was on at the same time?
Not necessarily. It actually won an Emmy over Batman the Animated Series.
It was not as good as Batman the Animated Series.
We have to go back and see it. It might be. I don't know. It's been many, many years. I can't say for sure, but Bruce Timm drew this little cartoon, and it has Batman real sad and crying, and he's walking away, and what was his name? Babs? Who's the blue bunny?
No, Babs is the girl. The blue bunny, I don't remember his name. It wasn't Junior. It was
Doc or something. The blue Babs was on stage holding an Emmy, and it's just Batman walking where he's sad, and they were upset because they didn't win for Batman the Animated Series because of Tiny Toons.
They should have won.
Again, I don't know. Maybe Tiny Toons is better. Who knows? I haven't seen it in years. I'm not going to say one way or another. I love Batman.
Here's what I felt about Tiny Toons, at least what I remember feeling. That they had the kind of jokes that Rocko's Modern Life has, where it's people getting hit with a hammer, and then we laugh about it. And
right.
Those are not my kind of jokes.
But every now and again, they would have Michael Keaton showing up in the Batmobile as a cartoon, and I remember that very distinctly. They had Tim Burton in there, The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's more than Rocko. I would even say that it's probably got more substance than Rocko's Modern Life, and I love Rocko.
I'm going to guess because it won an Emmy.
I mean, these things are also skewed, but then again, we're like the Emmy Award-winning Batman the Animated Series and Tiny Toons. We do have a quote here. Actually, before we go into that, are you gonna go with me on this journey of watching all of Tiny Toons and then going into Pinky and the Brain and going right down the list before Animaniacs?
I will go on a journey with you anywhere.
Aww, there you go, Broquette Core.
Why am I so cute? His name was Buster, by the way.
Okay, Buster, you got it.
Come on, that was really cute.
It was cute.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not manly for a guy to be, oh, that is nice. No.
But you're my husband.
Yeah, exactly. I'm your husband, not something else. I'm not your best friend.
All right. Yes, I will watch these with you as much as we can.
Executive producer Steven Spielberg had something to say about this, especially now that it's going to make him some more money, a little extra cash on the side.
Quote, I am so pleased. And what does Spielberg sound like?
I don't know.
Does he have...
It's been years
I was going to do my Stan Lee voice, but I don't think that that's right. So anyway, quote, I am so pleased and proud that Animaniacs will have a home at Hulu. Together with Warner Brothers, we look to bring new audiences and longtime fans into this wild world of Yakko, Wakko, and Dot. End quote.
This revival to Animaniacs is set to return in 2020. People have been asking if it's going to go the Teen Titans Go route of trying to rework the show to appeal to a younger audience, or if they're going to try to, I guess, go maybe the Ren and Stimpy revival where they try to maintain the same audience and maybe go a little bit more adult.
You aren't going to be able to have the same jokes in it that you did 20 years ago, 20 years ago.
Even if it's exclusive to Hulu?
Yeah, even if because you're still advertising it as a kid's show.
Are they, though?
So even, for example, Magic School Bus from the 90s is vastly different from Magic School Bus that just came out on Netflix. And that was a kid's show both times. But you're not being birthed from a chicken and seeing salmon fertilizing some eggs in this new Magic School Bus.
I think they should have done it. Because if someone's going to watch the old show, they're going to have the exact same content. If they're going to watch the new show, they're going to have the same content. So they should know what to expect as they're watching the old one or the new one. Because now when you tone it down for the new one, when they go back to see the old one, they're going to say, what? The salmon are coming on screen. And
I'm just saying that we're not going to have jokes about fingering Prince.
Maybe not. Maybe we will. It's going to be...
You want to bet on that? No,
I'm not going to bet if you're that sure.
Yeah.
As soon as you want to bet, I'm like, nope, Kelly called it. She knows. She's talking to Steven every night.
Daniel out.
Taking my chips and going home, just counting my earnings.
Either way, we are excited for this show. It will be out in 2020, and until then, we can catch up on all these other shows that Hulu has now graciously put up for us. While Steven Spielberg bathes in his bath of dollar bills.
Not so gracious, though, Kelly. Co-creator of the Marvel Universe, 95-year-old Stan Lee is the latest to be accused of sexual wrongdoing, according to the Daily Mail.
Boy, a number of nurses through a company that specifically serves celebrities and high-profile clients have come forward with accusations claiming that Stan Lee has demanded oral sex in the shower and in the bedroom, groped the workers, and walked around naked in his home.
Because of this, the high-end nursing company had stopped taking work from Stan Lee late last year after complaints from all of their nurses.
So his new catchphrase needs to be, Accusations!
I do love that as soon as the story broke, and this is the difference now, and I don't know if it's because it's not a new story or because there are now, accusations left and right. I love that I'm like, okay, let's see the reactions to this compared to my beloved Kevin Spacey or my beloved Louis C.K. And immediately people, I don't believe that. That's bullshit. They just want money. And I was like, okay, how come he gets a pass, but these other celebrities do not? How come you believe them immediately, but not this other? Like, why is there a discrepancy and a change there? Is it because you don't want your hero in a cape to be sullied like mine was with Louis C.K.? Except I can separate his personal life with his work. I can say, let me enjoy the Louis C.K. shit as well. It's not like I'm friends with the guy. Same with Stan Lee.
Here's the other thing, too. Kevin Spacey and Louis C.K. have done things that make people uncomfortable. Stan Lee has done nothing that make people uncomfortable. So it's
except the nurses.
Except the nurses. So it's very easy to look at Spacey and Louis C.K. and say, oh, well, my discomfort is founded now.
Or it's justified.
It's justified that they make me uncomfortable.
The weird joke that I was offended by on Louis C.K. or Kevin Spacey in House of Cards.
Right. Now it's justified because, oh, yeah, they really are those creeps. Stan Lee, everybody just sees him as like a cute old man.
He posed nude in like the 70s or the 60s and with a Marvel comic in front of his balls like that. If Kevin Spacey or Louis C.K. had done only that, it would still be the different thing.
Right.
I think it's another one of those fucking biases again between Marvel or Warner Brothers or Disney and DC, where they're giving that the benefit of the doubt, just like they give the pass to the shitty MCU movies. They're giving the pass to these accusations. Now we're gonna get another shitty review.
Yes, we are, and that's not what I'm saying, Brokettes.
Okay, you're on the other side. Go ahead.
But I'm telling you, the other side is these people have made people feel uncomfortable for whatever reason, through their work, Stan Lee hasn't. What have you ever seen from Stan Lee? Yeah, we don't really like his comics, we don't really like his movies, but when have you looked at Stan Lee and went, there's something off, he's made me feel uncomfortable?
What's funny that you say that, because one of the people that read the story, she said, I work at a nursing homes, and actually this is pretty common among people that are starting to get dementia, where they are very forward with sexual favors or sexual askings, whatever you may call it, or groping. And they said it's very common actually with older people. And some people are saying, well, he can't even get it up anyway. It's like, well, one, that's, how do you know? Like, do you know Stan Lee?
Yeah, for one, Hugh Hefner. Okay, let's calm down.
And Viagra, of course. And even if he can, like, that does not, that means he's not going to grow up anyone ever. No, that fucking doesn't. I saw To Catch a Predator. There were guys that were on there that could never get it up, and they were online, like, talking it up, and they were, trying to get close to the people, and they're like, actually, I can't.
You still get a high whether you get it up or not.
Exactly right, whether or not you actually physically. So let's throw that out the window. Like, I can't believe I'm arguing with this, and it's because, again, people are like, I don't know, I don't think so, no way. Or some people are like, he's old, it's fine. It's like, hold on a second. Come on now.
Again, I'm saying it's because he's never made anybody uncomfortable. It's way easy to jump on the bandwagon to be mad at somebody that you've had misgivings about.
Stan Lee's lawyers have since sent the company a cease and desist letter claiming defamation, and I'm also going to go ahead and go on a limb and say that these are also Disney's lawyers that came out and said,
I'm sure.
Or even Disney contacted and said, make this shit go away because you're going to be in 5 cameos, and we'll cut that shit out of these movies if you don't.
We have a quote from attorney Tom Lallis, who said, quote, Mr. Lee will not be extorted or blackmailed and will pay no money to anyone because he has done absolutely nothing wrong, end quote.
Lee's current nursing company is quoted as saying that Lee has been, quote, polite, kind, and respectful, end quote, since they have worked with him.
Did it happen? Probably.
Maybe it happened, maybe it didn't. Maybe Louis C.K.'s thing happened, maybe it didn't. Maybe Kevin Spacey's in there. It's just... if you're going to go ahead and give this a pass too and not believe the victims, then you got to also give a pass and take another look at these other victims too. Like me, I'm saying all of this should happen. Like, yes, Louis C.K., yes, Kevin Spacey, yes. And sure, not all of them are. Some are trying to get extortion and everything, but we can't say one way or another. But if you're going to go ahead and believe these other stories, you got to believe all the stories too. You can't just give special treatment based on, well, I like these movies better than I like the Louis C.K. thing or whatever. You know what I mean? You can't just pick and choose your favorite based on what you feel deep down. Like, no, he wouldn't do that. Everyone thinks they wouldn't do that. Everyone thinks that shit about your favorite celebrity ever.
Like Franco.
Like James Franco.
Who's been called out recently. I will say this, and I don't want to get too deep into it because I know it's a soft spot for a lot of people. And I understand these women feeling the need to come forward, and I'm happy that they have that strength and that opportunity to be able to get these things off their chest and point out that this is an issue. Because yes, honestly, it is an issue that these things happen in Hollywood, on the street, everywhere. This happens everywhere. Mm-hmm. You know, when I worked in a construction office, and luckily my dad was, pretty high up there, so nobody ever said things to me directly, but I heard roundabout ways of people saying things about me. Like, it happens everywhere. But these women are almost hurting their cause by the amount that this is coming out and the way they're coming out with it and making it as public as it is. Because I think society as a whole is now starting to become desensitized to it. Because, and I've made the comment too, somebody else comes out, oh, they got him this time. Oh, now it's him. Oh, they're up on him now. And it's frustrating.
Or becoming another story. And
right.
Do you think if the Stan Lee thing had come out earlier before the rest of them, maybe the first one after Harvey Weinstein, more people would have been like, holy shit, now this guy?
Yeah.
Or do you think it's because so many have come out that people are now like...
Yep. Because, I mean, and Kevin Spacey was one of the first ones to come out after Weinstein.
And his wasn't even like a recent thing either of like recordings or just last year. It was like, he's like, I don't know, 30 years ago, maybe it did happen. I don't know. I was drunk. And that was the most. Right. And it was enough to get him off the fucking show. Mm-hmm.
I think if Stan Lee had been one of the first ones after that, we wouldn't have been desensitized. And yes, it would have been much bigger. But it's been so far gone now that, again, exactly like we said, and I've heard other people say, oh, now it's him. Oh, it's another one. And that's unfortunate because I do honestly believe that it is a big issue that we, as you know, a society needs to fix. But the way they're going about it, the way it's coming out, it's there.
Not as organized as I guess you would say, which is difficult to do anyway. I think they're all, especially a lot of these media outlets are saying, you know, give us your story. Here's this paycheck. And there are obviously some of them are selling their story to exclusive, because you'll see that they'll say, even the Daily Mail says exclusive. And this particular company said, you know, made a deal with them to bring out the story there first.
And for example, with the Franco thing, it didn't come out until after he won a Golden Globe. So let's wait until they're at their, you know, height of their fame, and then let's bring it out and try and knock them down, because now it's going to be trending.
It's going to be trending, and they'll probably get more money if it's even beforehand, because this particular nursing company, just like many victims have as well, contacted them ahead of time and said, look, we're going to come forward with this story. There's all these complaints about these nurses, or we can sell out of court before we go into into the suing or into try to get something worked out. And they said, no, we're not going to work with it. And they're like, okay, well, we got to break the story and come after you publicly instead. So that's what ended up happening in this case. That's probably what happened in some of the other cases of people that got accused, like James Franco, where they said, no, I'm not going to give you anything. And then these things come out. So there you go, Stanley. I don't remember why Kirby left. And I don't remember groping any nurses. I got to be honest with you.
Accelerators. I'm sorry. Accusations.
Accusations, true believers. Filthy, filthy Stan.
Unfortunately, there's no true believers. So.
That's Oh, man.
Back over to Hulu. Hulu's adaptation of Marvel's Runaways has been renewed for a second season.
Executive producers and co-showrunners Schwartz and Savage said, quote, "We're so privileged that Marvel and Brian K. Vaughan trusted us with Runaways. We couldn't be more excited to continue telling this story. It's been a blast making the show with the cast and crew. We can't wait to see where we can take the story in season 2 and to stay on the run," end quote.
The season finale is up now on Hulu, so if you're interested, you can binge the whole thing. Do you have any interest in watching this?
I've heard really good things about it, but I never read the original graphic novel by Brian K. Vaughan or the books as they were releasing, so I don't have any interest in it, but I'm sure it's a fine show. I have nothing negative to say about it, and I've got nothing good to say about it either.
I have only seen commercials in between my This Is Us, and it's always the kid going, "There's a reason our parents are friends, and they made us friends, and that's the only reason we're friends is because our parents are friends before we were friends."
I know very little about the story itself. From what I understand, it's younger kids with superpowers, and they're involved in this blackmail company underground. I know very little about it. It's Brian K. Vaughan. You love Brian K. Vaughan. He writes Saga. Maybe you'll enjoy Runaways. Who knows?
I don't got time. I got to finish This Is Us before I go back to work. That's probably going to happen in a day, but you know.
One of our other favorite writers, Gail Simone. She's actually going to be making us buy a comic that we normally wouldn't be under any other creative team. She is going to be taking on Marvel's Domino onto her very first ongoing series, with issue number 1 debuting on April 11th.
Domino spins straight out of Deadpool's world, which Gail has written for in the past.
Quote here from Gail, who said, "My favorite characters are always the unpredictable ones, and with Domino, you literally never know which way the dice are going to roll. I love her, and I can't wait to show her best bad side," end quote.
No artist has been given for this series yet.
For any collectors out there, Domino first appeared in X-Force number 8, which was in 1992, goes for about $7 to $10 right now. She will also be making her big screen debut in Deadpool 2 this year.
I'm going to have to Google this character because I have no idea who Domino is.
She's got a pretty cool design. I know her, some people consider her very first appearance New Mutants 98, but as the story progressed, because I believe the character died off soon after, they ended up saying that was actually a doppelganger that was posing as Domino, and Domino herself, the actual character, debuted in that X-Force issue. So it's comics, it's got that confusion to it.
Can she control dominoes?
I have no idea. I don't know what her powers are, but we're going to find out with Gail's run. She's going to be in Deadpool 2, so many people are going to be asking about Domino after that movie releases. And we love Gail. We followed her into Red Sonja, and that was an amazing run. Hope Domino is too. I'm a little worried that there's no artist behind it yet, but there's still some time before the book debuts.
She came from Rob Liefeld, just heads up.
More money for Rob. Continuing with Marvel on the news this week.
All contracts from the original members of the MCU's Avengers end with next year's Infinity War Part 2, but Thor actor Chris Hemsworth says he's ready to sign on for more years.
A lot of people speculated that his character was going to be killed off because the contract did end. He lost an eye in Ragnarok, apparently, from what I'm seeing in the trailers.
Oh, I thought you meant the actual actor lost an eye. I was like, when the fuck did this happen? I'm sorry, continue.
A quote here from Chris, who said, 2 or 3 films ago, I was like, okay, a couple more. I was enjoying it, but I felt a little restricted. And after this last experience with Taika, and actually these last 2 Avengers, I feel like we've reinvented the character a number of times. Even in these next 2, he evolves again, and you don't get to that opportunity often in a franchise. So I definitely feel a renewed sense of excitement and enthusiasm, and more so than ever, I think, end quote.
I'm not trying to fangirl here. Yes, he was reinvented, and everyone I talked to hated it. Okay, so...
In Ragnarok?
Yes.
From what I understand, it's more comedic?
Yep. It's
not the same character from Thor?
Iron Man.
You said your dad didn't like this version of Thor.
Yes.
Because it wasn't what he grew up with either, or from the first 2 films.
Or from the first 2 films. So the first 2 films were probably my dad's favorite. I take that back. He really likes Guardians of the Galaxy too. But out of all the MCU movies, the first 2 Thors were his favorite. Because he really likes the character of Thor and like the way he was portrayed, etc. And then he sees this movie and he's all, I don't really know.
He's like another Guardian.
Exactly. He's more like Iron Man is what he compared him to. And so him and my brother both didn't particularly like the movie.
A lot of people seem to be preparing for that next generation of heroes that they think are going to happen after these next movies.
That are
because
cheaper?
Much cheaper, yeah. You can have the Winter Soldier take over as Captain America or the Falcon, which are cheaper to put onto contracts than, the original Steve Rogers or Chris Hemsworth in this case, where they could just, keep renewing the contracts for a longer period of time. Maybe they'll give them X amount on merchandising or whatever. But I know Robert Downey Jr., it sounds like Disney's best interests aren't to, give him the best deal. And Downey Jr., one of the previous contracts that he did before he came back to the Marvel Universe was, I'm not going to come back unless you give them at least this much. And that's one thing they were like, well, no, we're paying you what you want. He's like, I don't care. I want to make sure that the rest of the actors are also getting the right deal and the right amount, because they were getting way less than they should have. And he's like, these movies are going to make much more money. And this is why you're going to give me what I'm asking for. But you can't just give them, the 10% or whatever, even less than what I'm going to earn.
Getting off topic for a second, you're telling me that Robert Downey Jr. in all his drunkenness
and drugs
never sexually assaulted anybody?
Oh, let's wait. I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, he's next.
It's not going to come out. Please.
Plus, I don't think he's going to be, even if it did, he's not going to be around, I don't think, past these Avengers movies. A lot of people are suspecting that he's way too costly for Disney now.
Yeah.
That if he does return, it'll be in a suit as a voice only, or he'll be killed off in this, and then there will either be a new Iron Man or they'll focus on the new characters.
The thing about these movies, if they keep with the same team and the same formula they're using, they can get rid of these characters and these actors and still put something great forth and still make money. I say something great, something that people enjoy, and still make their money back, even with different, less costly people.
Definitely. And even some people have been saying, like, if they really wanted to, they could reboot the whole franchise, or they can just replace the actors and still continue with Captain America. They already did it with the Hulk a couple of times, even though I guess the first one doesn't count, but the one with General Ross, who's still in the same universe, there was a different Bruce Banner in those films. So that wouldn't be the first time they've replaced one of the actors for one of the characters.
The Hulk has gotten more handsome as we've gone along, too. I don't know if you've noticed.
You're talking about the Hulk himself?
Yes.
Or, okay, I don't know.
I'll show you some Pinterest pictures.
All right. Who have they shipped him with?
Nobody.
Not even Thor?
No, that's weird.
I don't know. I don't know what these teenagers are shipping him with.
You want me to find out? I'll tell you who they're shipping him with.
Okay.
We'll go on Pinterest. Here's how you find who anybody's being shipped with. You go on Pinterest, right? And you type in the first person, so Hulk, and then an X, Black Widow. Oh, Tony Stark.
Oh, because of Avengers
Loki.
2.
Tony's on there twice, by the way.
That's
they're
weird.
real cute together. Aww.
Do they need the Hulkbuster? Do they hold each other like that?
Here's old man Logan holding a baby Hulk.
That's not a ship, though.
A little baby green, but it's cute because they obviously look science bros. That's what they're called, science bros.
I can see it now.
But they're in love.
But that's Bruce Banner and Tony Stark, and
Yes.
not necessarily the Hulk.
I mean, the Hulk is in there too. It's all a package.
Final story of this episode, Brokettes. In an interview with IGN co-screenwriter David Goyer, who's worked on the Dark Knight trilogy, he confirmed that the Green Lantern Corps film was, quote, still in the works, end quote.
When asked about a tentative date for the movie, Goyer responded with, quote, who knows, especially with what's currently going on in the DC universe. There's a whole recalibration happening with that right now, end quote.
So regardless, it looks like they're going to move forward with the Green Lantern Corps film in one way or another. But when it actually releases, who knows, as he said, because if they expected Justice League to make X amount of money, and it still did really well, but there's still that reworking of people behind the scenes because it didn't make as much as they expected, minimum even at their worst. So obviously we mentioned before that Jeff Johns got a bit of a bump down as far as the creative control that he had. They got rid of, I think it was John Berg, who is now working with Lego Batman's director or producer. And there's a lot of shuffling going on behind the scenes. And based on how well that particular movie did, that's when certain movies were going to come out of that. And without those, who knows? You know, at one point they announced the Cyborg film. They announced the Green Lantern Corps film. Those were supposed to come out, I think, even back to back, like 2019 and 2020. And now they replace them with Batgirl, Nightwing, and Batman. I'm assuming after the success of Batman v Superman. So it's always changing. It's always moving about. But at least we know that we are going to get a Green Lantern Corps film in the next 5 years or so.
And it'll be great. As long as it has Sinestro, it'll be great.
Do you consider the first live-action Green Lantern movie great if it had Sinestro?
It's great to make fun of.
It's great in other ways.
Sinestro was great in that movie.
He was. Yeah, and Mark Strong.
And Parallax sounded like a cleaning solution.
That he does. So what do you think? Are you happy that there's at least moving forward still and it's not, one of the chopping block movies like Cyborg?
Of course. I never pictured that movie as being a chopping block movie. Hal Jordan is too big. The Green Lanterns are too big of a name to say, well, we're building this franchise, but let's not put one of our biggest characters in there. I mean, you have Aquaman, which is way smaller than Green Lantern.
I could agree with that, yeah.
And you don't even, and they did get you to play Aquaman, so
right.
You're going to bring in a lot of people just yourself. But with Green Lantern, you're going to have Hal Jordan. They could easily put in Jon Stewart, which is my favorite Green Lantern. You could do all the different Green Lanterns of Earth. Fuck it. Just throw them all in there,
Plus that plethora of storytelling that they would be denying by not doing the Green Lantern Corps film
There's
or
so
sequels
many
after that. Right. You can make a whole universe just on the Green Lantern Corps. You can tell a series of movies and spin-offs just on those characters in the 9+ years of Green Lantern material that even just Jeff Johns has provided before the New 52, after the New 52, and during. You
know what I would probably do if I were them? This is what I would do. Are you ready? I'm a genius. This is why people are listening to our show now. Like, oh, did Jeff Johns tell them that? I would release this movie on the heels of the next Star Trek movie.
The one by Tarantino? Why is that?
Because Star Trek is going to be a spacey movie, and then Green Lantern's spacey. So you're going to have us who are like, yeah, Green Lantern, we're going. And then you're going to have the people who are like, comic book movie, we're going. But then you're going to have the other people who go, I like Star Trek, and that was spacey, and this has space too. It's probably similar. And then they're going to go to that also.
Maybe that'll work. Maybe that's the secret.
Why am I so cool? Jeff Johns, listen. Listen here, bud.
He might be. I do think Star Trek, though, will be coming out much sooner. It sounds like they have their ducks in a row with Star Trek more so than they do with the Green Lantern Corps.
They have their Patrick Stewart. That's all you need.
Patrick Stewart. They should put him in the fucking Green Lantern Corps.
Oh, man. Who could he be?
Anyone. Whoever he wants to be.
Them.
Jordan. He could be Sinestro. He can be anyone.
Jordan.
He can be one of the Guardians. He can be all of the Guardians.
He could be Professor Xavier, whatever.
In space.
He did go to space at the end of the cartoon. We discussed this a few weeks ago. So
to get some. So I'm happy. I'm glad it's still going. Anyone that's panicking, like they're not going to make any more DC films. Yes, they are. They're not. The properties are too valuable. Even after Green Lantern happened, which people thought killed it. Even after Batman and Robin happened, we got Batman Begins.
What if they did Star Trek and Green Lantern on the big screen. Just like the comic.
Spin it right off the book.
Oh,
Do it.
that costs too much money. Please, calm down, Daniel. You and your crazy ideas.
Come on, Warner Brothers, just buy Paramount. If they're going to let Disney buy Fox.
Buy everything.
They better let you buy whatever you want.
Accusations!
So before our comic book interview, let's head into our Patreon shout-outs of the week.
This week, our first shout-out goes out to Bobby, whose Twitter handle is @CubanSlim.
Bobby went to the UCF parade at Magic Kingdom, and he also helped out with our Pokemon League Cup at the local comic shop that I was also helping out in Orlando. So huge help, Bobby and Will. That was an awesome showing and a great tournament.
Can we talk about UCF for a second?
We can. I'll have nothing to contribute because I don't watch the football, but yeah,
well,
what happened?
I don't watch college football. I'm not a college football fan, but I have spent a lot of time with my parents because I've been on maternity leave. And what do you do on a weekend when your parents are off? You just go over and I'm like, here, hold my baby. I'm going to eat your food. And so that's exactly what I do with my parents. So my dad went to UCF, graduated from UCF. You and I both went to UCF for a short time until we realized you can't finish is a real thing. And then we stopped. But I was watching this game with him and wow, how amazing for these kids at what's really a small ass school to be able to have an entire season where they didn't lose one game. 2 years ago, they lost every single fucking game. Last year, they only won 6 games. This year, they won every single fucking game. They had a guy on their team who only has one hand.
How many games are in a football season?
Hell, I don't know. But they won them all.
Well, I mean, if there's 3 games in a season.
There's more than that. I will Google this for you. But
the White Sox went like 23 games straight about 4 years ago without losing, and that was considered, I think, one of their longest streaks in the team's history. And I remember I'm pretty sure we were watching those games as they were coming out and following them. So I don't know, like to me, I'm like, oh, 23 games, that's pretty amazing, but I don't know what football is.
Well, I will Google it. Google is working slowly because Wi-Fi. 13 games. This is a lot for football.
So, okay.
Okay.
I guess.
but please tell me how many college football teams have won all their games.
I have no idea.
Like
I don't know, but
5
it
in
shouldn't
history.
be that difficult.
5 in history.
It's 13 games.
So, football is different than the baseball.
It is different than baseball, correct. There are more factors in baseball than there are in football.
Just listen, I know that you're not a football fan, but I am proud of UCF. I am proud of our little college. And I am pissed off at college football, as are many people, that they're still not in the running for the national championship. Even though they lost 0 games, they did better than any other team in all of college football.
And people like this sport, even with these skewed statistics or skewed rules. And I don't know, I wouldn't be happy.
Do. You know what?
I don't watch it, so
Bobby understands me. Bobby gets me. He went to the parade.
Then you guys can explain to me
he was
why.
Proud. I can't tell you why. I'm just excited for our city, okay? Our city needed something. It needed something. And we got something. And they got a parade. And I'm happy that they got a parade.
And they went to Disney. Where are you guys going? Disney World.
Yeah.
20 minutes from now.
That's where you gotta go. They played up in Georgia. They had to drive a long way to get back to Disney. 6 hours. Okay.
Next Patreon shout out goes out to Neil on Twitter @nmats68. He actually retweeted Tommy Wiseau's stage approach at the Golden Globes. I was on the side of poor Tommy. Let Tommy say something.
Don't let
fucking
Tommy
James
say
Franco.
anything.
Let Tommy fucking say something. Even the people in the comments that were like, he did the right thing by not letting him speak because he would still be speaking on the mic. And I said, well, fuck you, because James Franco and his Golden Globe would not be anywhere, wouldn't be existing if it weren't for him exploiting this guy for his shitty movie and for his shitty acting. He was exploiting him. He bought his life rights to make movies. Yeah, Tommy sold it, but there's a way to do it. When James Franco did his speech, he did his accent, and it was in a disrespectful manner.
All right, that's not cool. But what would Tommy have said if he got on the mic?
I don't care.
Let's just think about this for a minute.
He can say whatever because Franco owes him that goddamn Golden Globe. And I don't care that Franco made the movie himself and went out and did that shit. But without fucking Tommy Wiseau, I mean, you gotta give he's on stage. He should be happy about that. No. He should not just be happy about that. And I know he's making money off of the room screenings, and he probably made some money off of the Disaster Artist as well. But to just shove him aside and not thank him even like
Here-
50% of your goddamn
Here's
speech?
what should have been done. He should have thanked him more in his speech. I didn't hear his speech, but he should have just given him all the credit in the world. And then they should have talked to Wiseau beforehand and said, if this happens, this is what you need to say. And then let him speak. But they probably didn't do that because they didn't think they were going to win. And I'm happy that they won because Tommy Wiseau is great and the Disaster Artist was
That
great.
Franco won, yeah.
And The Room is great. Yeah, Franco won, whatever. Tommy really won.
It doesn't seem like it the way Franco was fucking treating him.
Listen, he didn't want him getting up there going, hi, doggy, how's your sex life?
It would have been great. People would have laughed and clapped, standing ovation.
Hey.
I would have.
Boy. And then some woman could have come out about Tommy. And that would have made
and it
me
would have
sad.
been, I wouldn't believe them, Kelly, because I like Tommy. So
Okay.
no, he would
All
never
right.
do that.
All right.
If anything, he would have aimed at her belly button anyway. So it's not like...
And that's our show.
I killed you with that one.
I'm still fighting the sickness. Oh my god. Just go on to the next one. I can't.
Next Patreon shout out goes out to John at John72Tex. He often posts on Instagram, actually. If you want to also follow him on Instagram, at Johnny2Chips. He's got the new comic book day haul that he puts up on there, all the comics that he gets every week. He'll throw up on Instagram once again at Johnny2 and CHIPS.
I'm still dead. I can't talk. Why did you have to say those things to me? Oh my goodness. So thank you to all of our Patreon supporters. If you too want to be a Patreon backer, for as little as $1 a month, that's 25 cents an episode, you can get your shout out every month as well.
Also enters you in for the giveaway of Deathstroke the Terminator Volume 3, which will end on the 15th. All Brocat Core members on Patreon at every level of backing will be entered automatically to try to win the latest volume from Deathstroke. And we'll do more giveaways as the year progresses. Obviously, the more Patreon backers we get, the more often we'll do these giveaways. And the t-shirt sales definitely help out with that. Right now with Patreon, we're not breaking even on the show. We are still at a loss, but it definitely helps the blow every month and every year with the website renewals and with the podcast hosting.
And don't forget, I'm still trying to be a stay-at-home mom, so the more you guys support me, I will tweet twice as much and become a stay-at-home mom.
Also, we want to thank DecalAvenue.com for the help at the $5 decal reward tier. Don't forget, you can also leave us a voicemail or a comment or a question if you want to be heard on the air. The link is in the description, but it's speakpipe.com/thereasonsimbroke. 90 seconds or less. Take a moment to send us a voicemail.
And if you'd like to support us through purchasing a shirt and wearing that shirt around, you can certainly do that as well. Go to thereasonsimbroke.com, click on merch. You're going to see different designs for different shirts. Daniel has worked very, very hard on these, all hand created by him. And
Except for the main logo, we hired someone on that.
Except for that one. And you're going to click on the logo. It's going to take you over to TeePublic, where you can choose different colors, different styles of shirts. They got everything there. They got tank tops. They got off-the-shoulder cool things. Whatever you want, you can purchase them through there.
So thank you so much, backers, for your Patreon support. Let's head on into our interview with Patrick Trahey from the 12 #1 Alterna Comics. We've heard from Alterna Comics before in the past, and we're happy to have done another interview with them. Every now and again, we like to mix it up with our comic reviews, comic book highlights. So without further ado, here's our interview with Patrick Trahey on the 12th. You can pre-order it now at your local comic book shop. And here we are with our next alternate guest, the latest guest to the Reasons I'm Broke podcast. You've heard Peter before on the show a number of times, and this time we have one of the creators for one of the upcoming books, The 12. It's going to be a 5-issue miniseries, #1 releasing next month on the 21st, and that is going to be available through your local retailer, but also through alternacomics.com. And I have right here on the show for our comic book highlight, Mr. Patrick Trahey. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you for having me.
So tell us a bit about the book on issue 1 with the 12. And as for anyone that's not familiar with Alterna Comics, what do they bring to the table that is different from the bigger publishers as far as the format and the pricing?
Sure. Well, in terms of the book, It is post-apocalyptic. It's the story of a secretive group called the 12 who are rebuilding society in the ruins of Chicago. The first book in the series revolves around Caleb, who is a father of 5 trying to keep his family together as winter looms over the horizon. As for what Alterna brings, for me, it's the opportunity to get involved with a really strong up-and-coming indie company. Mm-hmm. There's a whole lot of publishers out there, indie publishers, but Alterna really feels like it's moving up, and they're doing some really interesting things. The newsprint especially is a really strong move, and I don't really see anyone else doing anything similar. And they're really making their niche in the market. And for me, I just want to get a good, strong, wide distribution. So I've been self-publishing this for a while, and my goal in that was always to get a publisher, because in getting a publisher, I can get the book to more people, and hopefully, if it sells well, I can keep making more books.
Absolutely, definitely. The 12, is this your first miniseries that you've done, or have you done other works before?
It was the first work I ever did. I've done a few things since then, short stories and whatnot, but this is definitely the biggest project I've done for sure.
Yeah, even when I was going through a couple of the issues for the 12, you definitely get your money's worth, not only for the fact that it's through Alterna, it's going to be on newsprint, it's going to be much cheaper than what you see from the big two or even some other independent companies, but the story itself gives you not only the dialogue of this particular story, the isolation that you feel with these characters and the family, and also the people around them that are not necessarily trustworthy with them, but the artwork as well complements what you have set forth. And the artist is Luis Suarez, right?
Yes.
And this, I mean, there's some quotes here from, for example, The Road, which is perfect. If you enjoy The Road, you will like the 12, but I think I wouldn't call it as dark as The Road, but it's still as heavy, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, that's really what I was going for. Sort of, it's funny. Like when we market the book, we often reference Walking Dead and Mad Max, which are great, like post-apocalyptic stories. But for me, like this is a very strong callback to The Road. So anyone who likes The Road would like this book. But one thing, I love that book and the movie, but I prefer the book. The one thing about it that kind of bugged me is that it always felt like it was hopeless.
Right.
Which, that's what he's going for, and he does it amazingly. But I wanted to try and make a post-apocalyptic story with an element of hope. So I like to call this story a post-apocalyptic story, because it's sort of at a turning point where a new society is forming from the ashes.
Exactly, and it seems like the characters are, even, at least at the very beginning, and not to give too much away, but they're somewhat established, and then that's where the story begins, and that's where the changes come in, and where they have to go over their latest hurdle in progressing this particular story. And it does seem like at least this particular generation of people are a little bit more settled than what you would see normally, as you mentioned, on The Walking Dead or in The Road.
Yeah. I get asked a lot I do I'll do conventions and whatnot, and I get people, almost anyone, when I tell people that it's post-apocalyptic, they ask what caused the post-apocalypse. That's like 90% of the people ask me that. I don't mind answering, but to the characters in the story, that's not really relevant. They're just trying to live their lives, and a lot of the history in this world has been lost. So the characters in the story don't really know or care what came before them. They're just trying to get by. I know, though.
Are you ever going to reveal it, or is that just for you?
I suppose I could. I've told people at conventions, so it's out there in the ether.
Well, let's leave it as a mystery for people that do pick up the book. Maybe there's enough clues and suggestions in the story itself that people can try to pick up the pieces and build that story themselves before they know the true answer and see if they were correct. One thing I do want to point out too is with some of Alterna's books, they are in black and white, or they have a bit of color complement to them. In the case of the 12, it does look like, for the most part, it's in black and white. But then when there are some story points, or there's something that definitely needs to lead the eye, you do use a bit of color as you lead the reader on.
Yeah. So actually, for the Alterna print, we had to make a few changes to that in order to make it work on the newsprint format. So the Alterna version will have sort of a red tint to it, and that's because the black and white on the newsprint wasn't quite crisp enough.
Well, even from seeing the particular copy that you provided beforehand, it looks like it will look awesome on newsprint. And there's something about newsprint, as you know, I'm sure you've gone through plenty of the Alterna books yourself, that would suit the story well, not only for the content that it does have and that it does give readers, but also for the artwork by Lewis, who seems to have thicker lines on the characters and on the backgrounds, which what I think it's going to translate beautifully onto that newsprint. Yeah,
I think so. I think it'll look great. I mean, I can't wait to have a copy in my hand to see it. but yeah, and I think people will really like the red hued tint that was Peter's idea in order to give it to make it stand out better on the newsprint. But I do think the newsprint sort of lends itself to a post-apocalyptic story too. It's got the nice rough texture.
And that'll be cool too, because I don't think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think any of the other books have printed on that red tint from Alterna that I've seen.
I don't think so.
So that's another thing that's great for you, because on the newsstands, even just from looking at it, a pile of books that are on the stands or at Barnes and Noble or wherever, they'll see like the pages look a little bit different. And then once they even go in, put aside the newsprint, they're going to see the different format to the comic itself, which again, you don't see from many publishers at all.
Yeah, it definitely adds a nice uniqueness to it. It's sort of interesting. You mentioned the self-published versions were black and white with splashes of red in them. And I love that version. And that's sort of, my baby. That was sort of how we did it originally. But for me, just the chance to work with Alterna and get that out there on the newsprint was like, yeah, let's try something new. Let's try something new. Let's try something different.
There you go. So. Is the 12 set to release as a regular monthly on schedule? We're going to get this. Is there going to be any kind of break between the 5 issues?
It's going to be every 2 months.
Okay, so every 2 months it's going to release. And for anyone out there that does have a subscription at a comic book shop, go ahead, and if you want to add this to your subscription, as Patrick said, it's going to come out every 2 months, but they won't know to order the book unless you let them know. So as soon as you add it onto your subscription, they can go into Diamond and order issues 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 as they get solicited. But what's another place that they can find, for example, issue 1, if they're not able to find it at their LCS next month?
Well, probably the best thing to do is to contact Alterna directly. You can order it straight through them. That's my favorite option, because then you're not only supporting the book, but you're also supporting the publisher. And Alterna is the most awesome of all indie publishers.
They truly are.
They have a ton of great titles, and I can't recommend enough. Man, go read Croak or Scrimshaw. I love Scrimshaw. But yeah, you can get a whole bunch of Alterna stuff straight from them.
Plus, it'll come straight from Peter, who, if anyone has followed us on Twitter, have seen Peter's tweets on there. They follow him on there too. And I haven't seen anyone quite as driven as Peter is to push these comics out to people and to get these independent works out to readers who might be getting tired of some of the stuff from the big two, and who are looking for, at a time right now where more and more readers are looking for independent books, independent stories, things that aren't tied down to, well, it's got to match the movie that's on the big screen, or we got to make sure we hit this particular demographic. It's just storytelling and then artwork straight from the artists, the publishers, the independent creators, straight into the readers.
Couldn't agree more.
So as you mentioned, alternacomics.com is a great place you can go to pick up the 12 or to pre-order your issues of the 12. And from there, you can also pick up a lot of the other great titles from Alterna. And there's some great stuff. As you mentioned, Croak, we actually ended up reviewing it on the Reasons I'm Broke podcast as well. And Mother Russia ended up being one of their popular titles too. So definitely check that out. It is awesome. And so if I would even say if you enjoyed something like Mother Russia, like The Walking Dead, if you've read The Road or seen the movie, definitely pre-order and check out the 12 #1. Once again, releasing on February 21st. That is next month. If your LCS can't order it, go through alternacomics.com. Patrick, anything else you'd like to add before we finish off this comic book highlight?
Yeah, well, just check out my book when it comes out. That's the main thing. and support your local comic shop.
Definitely. Where can Brokettes find you if they want to contact you through Twitter, through Facebook, if they want to talk about the book or ask you questions?
You can find me online. I'm on Twitter as @SoulComics. That's SOL Comics. I'm on Facebook under the same name and Instagram under the same name as well.
Perfect. And we will have links in the show notes, Brokettes, so definitely be sure to check out the show notes and you will find links to where you can find Patrick and Alterna Comics as well. Patrick, thank you so much for doing the interview with us for the 12, once again, releasing next month.
Awesome. Thank you.
And that was our interview for our comic book highlight this week, and that will do it for our show as well.
Thank you so much for joining us this week. If you're a new listener from Alterna, for example, thank you for making it this far. We hope you enjoyed the interview, and we hope you brought something out of the show, something you found entertaining, something informative, something from the news, or even if you may disagree with some of the opinions we have, hopefully our personalities are out there enough to where you can at least get something out of the podcast and the show. We would appreciate it. Again, longtime Brokettes, if you haven't done so yet, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Anyone that enjoyed the interview, go ahead and share it with a friend if you enjoyed it. And also, if you did like the show and you want to hear more, make sure to subscribe on your favorite podcatcher. If you're just listening to this on, say, a streaming service like YouTube or straight through a streaming bar, you can subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, all of your major podcatchers, whatever your favorite one is. We are there. If we are not, let us know. We will do our best to get the show on there. iHeartRadio, Spotify. Ooh. Everyone has Spotify. Everyone has iHeartRadio.
I don't have either of those, but thanks.
You said you listen to iHeartRadio.
No, I said I listen to Pandora.
Pandora. We're probably on there. I don't know if they allow podcasts, actually.
I don't think so. But of course, guys, like we try to say every single week, the reason we do this show is for all of you. So thank you so much for tuning in. Reach out to us on Twitter, on Facebook. Let us know what you thought of the show, what you would like to see next week. If I offend you, let me know, and I'll just laugh. No, I won't laugh. But please reach out to us. Let your friends know about us. And get on Twitter and message these people that I want on my show and tell them to come be on the show.
That's right. Tommy Wiseau, Dustin Wynn.
Yes. Dustin Wynn. You didn't say that right. Kevin Conroy.
That's right. Yeah. Whoever
Dougie Jones.
Doug Jones.
All of them.
Who knows? It might happen.
Even people I don't know. I'll interview them for you. Whatever. I'll ask them, like, what's your favorite baking recipe?
So we've got a new sign out, Brokettes. I'm Daniel.
I'm Kelly.
And Brokette Core, all will be well.
We'll see you next week.